Alright, from our last video, okay, we have that P is equals 1 or what? P is equals what? 2. So let's solve for x. Recall that we set our P to be what? To be 2 raised to the power of what? Sine square what? X, right? Now, when P is equals 1, when our P equals what? 1, then we have that 2 raised to the power of what? Sine square x is equals what? 1. And before we can solve for this, we must express both sides to have common bases, right? So, we can replace 1 as what? 2 raised to the power of what? 0. Because anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. So here we're going to have that 2 raised to the power of what? Sine square x is equals what? Equals 2 raised to the power of 0. So since they have common bases, we're going to equate other powers. So here we're going to have that sine square x is equals 0. So for us to eliminate this square, we're going to square root what? Both sides. So we have the square root of what? Sine square x is equals what? Square root of 0. So this we cancel this, right? Because square root is opposite of what? Square. Now we're going to have that sine x is equals what? 0. Because square root of what? 0 is 0. So how do we find x? X is what? Sine inverse of what? Of 0. Now let's study our graph, our sine graph, okay? So here, okay, is our theta, okay? So the point of intersection is 0, right? Let's range from 0 to 90 degrees, okay, to what? 90 plus 90 is 180 degrees. 180 plus 90 is what? Is 270 degrees. 270 plus 90 is what? Is 360 degrees, okay? Okay, the interval is 1 and what? And minus 1. Okay. Now, sine 0 is what? Is 0. Okay, good. Sine 90 is what? Is 1. Sine 180 is what? Is 0. Sine 270 degrees is what? Is minus 1. Okay? Sine 360 degrees is what? Is 0. So when we draw this graph, we're going to have something like this. Okay? We're going to have something like this. Okay? Good. Now, when you look at this graph, you discover that sine 0 is 0. So sine inverse of 0 is also 0. So our first x is equals what? 0 degrees. Okay? Now, again, sine 180 degrees is what? Is still 0. So sine inverse of 0 will still give us what? 180 what? Degrees, right? Again, sine 360 degrees is 0. So sine inverse of 0 is also what? 360. So we got what? 3 values within this range. Now, again, let's look at when our P is equals what? 2. So we're going to have that 2 raised to the power of what? Sine square x is equals 2 raised to the power of 1. So since they already have a common basis, we're going to equate other powers, which is sine square x is equals what? Equals 1. To eliminate this square, we're going to square root what? Both sides, which is plus or minus of what? Square root of 1. Cancel this, cancel this. Now the essence of putting plus or minus, because the power of this is 2. So we should expect what? 2 values of what? Sine x. Okay? So here we're going to have that sine x is equals what? Plus or minus 1. Now let's start with the first value, which is plus 1. So when sine x is equals 1, what is x? X is equals what? Sine inverse of what? Of 1. So let's go back to our graph. Sine 90 degrees is what? Is 1. So sine inverse of 1 will give us back our what? A 90. That means here we have what? 90 degrees. You see, there is no other value here. Okay, so we have only one value. Within what? 0 and what? 360 degrees. Again, let's take our negative 1. Okay, so when our sine x is equals what? Minus 1. Okay, you see that our x is equals what? Sine inverse of what? Minus 1. Let's go back to our graph. Here now, you see that sine 270 degrees is what? is minus 1. So sine inverse of what? Minus 1 must give us what? About 270. So this is what? 270 degrees. So from here now, we have that the value of what? The values of x start from what? 0 degrees, comma, followed by what? 90 degrees, followed by what? 180 degrees, right? Followed by what? 270. Then followed by what? 3 what? 60 degrees. So when you keep in all these values here, your answer must be what? 3. Okay? Now, you can try this and drop the answer in the comment section. Okay? Let us have 3 raised to the power of what? Sine square x plus what? 3 raised to the power of what? Cos square x. Okay? Is equals what? 4. So, if you know the answer, drop it in the comment section. Thank you.